Just mouse over to Selenium. Just put your cursor on the Selenium word. It's saying install package. That means that you have the project is not having Selenium settings in it. You have to set Selenium in this specific project as well. What you need to do is you need to go to the file option at the left hand side corner. File, settings. In here, interpreter. It's not showing, then you once delete this, just remove it. Click this. Select the minus option from the above panel. Click that. It is not deleted.
No, it's not deleting.
Saying package Selenium successfully uninstalled. Okay, just close this one. Close this one. Mouse over to Selenium again from the import statement. Click on it. On this red bulb type icon, it's coming now. Click on that. On Selenium Word, just press Alt, or the option is coming the install package. Just click on this. Still showing the same.
It's not showing anything actually. Yeah, package installed successfully. Package, it's showed like that. Yeah, it's shown like that only. Package is installed successfully.
Selenium is in your system. Have you checked that? Have you downloaded
Yes,
it?
yes, I have.
And in that case, might be the project is not set up properly or something like that has happened, because it generally does not happen. You can just remake a new project and then start it just by adding Selenium and see whether it works or not. Don't import directly, just import Selenium and try to check the version of it. Check the version, right? So just try doing that so that we can check if it is the same issue in the another project or it's in this project too. Because sometimes happen the project settings are not properly done or something like that. So it could be a reason. You can just try that once.
Okay. I want to start a new project itself, right?
Yeah, you just create a new project and try it in that.
Okay. Can I give attach or new this window or new window or something?
It's totally up to you. If you want to have one window open, then it will replace this project and open the new project. If you want to click the new window, then it will open two PyCharm windows. One will have this project and another one will have the new project.
Okay, okay. Then I will go for this.
Meanwhile, Akhila is setting up the project. What we are going to do next in the today's session, that I'll inform you guys. See, we have been aware about the Python language. We have been knowing that it's a programming language. Now we have the understanding of the Selenium a little, that we know how to check the version, we know how to open up the browser event, right? But there is one more necessity that we need to understand before proceeding further, and that is that we don't want to get our, when we are going to start the automation, we are going to start automating some browser. At that time, I will be requiring to make a small code which I can run as many times I want, not just from this IDE, not just from PyCharm. Might be I need to run it from command prompt also, right? So for that, what we do is we have a framework that is PyTest, and in the PyTest, what it does is we can bound our code into the test cases. And we don't have to do a lot of things in that. We just need to follow some of the conventions. We need to prefix something. We need to be careful about the naming convention. That is the thing that we have to do in PyTest. And what it will do is the interpreter will differentiate a normal Python file and a test file. And when I say that in a file, there is a function. Basically, test cases are function only. In the same way we define functions and classes, it is the same way. Just a prefix will be added, nothing else. But it will make a lot of difference when we have to run the test cases. At that time, we have to do that, right? So that we are going to learn today, PyTest. We need to install it, and then we have to configure it in PyCharm. And then we'll start seeing what are the convictions and what we need to do. Okay, so before that, let's see if same or not. Um, Akhila. So Akhila, over here, you have just created a file and you have written Selenium import, right? So instead of running it before, you can just go to file settings first.
Okay.
Project into project interpreter. Let it come. It says that Selenium is here. It's already importing it. Can you just go to plus once, the plus icon? Look for Selenium over here.
It's here.
Click on the install package at the bottom. Just wait for a while. Okay. It is done. Close these two windows.
Just I want to close or I want to click OK.
Okay, click this OK. It's still showing the same. Can you just go to command prompt once?
Command prompt.
Enter this. Can you just have a command pip list? pip list. You have to prefix pip. So we need to maybe see this because it will take time. Selenium is installed over here and is in your project and not still working. So we need to see this. We'll see this in a time, Akila. At the end of the class, we'll discuss this again. Okay? Is
Yeah,
that
yeah,
okay?
sure, sure. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, yes. Oh,
I'll share my screen so that you can start with the topic. Okay. So over here, as we have discussed about the PyTest, that I told you what PyTest is and why is it used. It's just a form of making a different separate command, separate code for running a particular piece of code. It could be on you're automating some kind of website. You don't want to edit it more with the common command. So you can just bound it in a test case and keep it aside whenever you want to run it. You can simply run it. Right. So to get PyTest in your system, you don't have to hassle a lot. You just can look over the browser and you can see import PyTest. It's not such a big file or something that you have to go and look for. It's just a normal command, the same command that we have used to install Selenium. The same command we are going to use using the package manager pip. We are going to install it. So I'll open up my command prompt. And over here, I'll give the small command that is pip install. What I want to install now, that is PyTest. I'll press enter and it will install the package over here. It's saying it's already satisfied in my case. PyTest is already in my system. So we are good to go. Whenever we install packages using the package manager, we can see a full list also that which packages are installed so far by using the command pip list. It will show you all the packages that you have installed in a form of list along with the versions that you have used. Right. Over here, we installed Selenium earlier. Now we have installed PyTest, and this is the version of PyTest that we have. Right. You don't have to bother about the versions. It's automatically going to install those packages, those versions, which are stable. You don't have to worry about the versions over here. Right. Now I have PyTest in my system. What my next step will be to configure the same project, same package in my project also. Right. So what I need to do is go to File, Settings. In the interpreter, I have to add up the package PyTest. At the top, it comes with the same version that we have installed in the system. The same version is coming, so we just have to go and click on Install Package. Once it's done, we'll go on. Done, so we'll close these windows and done. Right. Now talking about the conventions that are to be used while making the test case. Make a new package and a simple Python file I'm going to make. Let's say so what are the conventions? There are three conventions for class and for function as well. For both, there are different conventions. Right. What are the conventions? Number one, whichever function you're going to make. We make functions by using the keyword def, right? Along with the function name that we give, what you have to do is you have to prefix test underscore. Now, why is it compulsory? Because anyhow we name the functions, we just give a random name that comes in our mind at the very first, right? So interpreter considers it as a Python file and it runs as it is over here in the configuration. It completely comes like this, right? But if we make a file, and we name it with the test prefixed, test underscore ahead, this I can give anything. Let's say this is my demo one file. This is my first test case that I'll be making. So this will be a test file now. When I have to run this, I'll get different options over here. Right now it's coming like this and this and this. We'll come to this and I'll show you how the configurations are going to change. In here, the test file name is given by this. Same way, when we are going to make the function, we have to prefix the word test. So we'll say test underscore demo one. Now this is now going to be considered as a test case. Whatever next I'm going to write in it will be considered as a code in the test case, right? So we'll make the function, and let's say I have a normal statement right now. I'm not going to open up the browser for the time. Let's just use it with the print statements. We'll move on with the browser in some time. My first test case. That's what you need to do, right? Now we have to run this file. We have to run this function in this file. How we are going to do that? So over here, there are configuration difference. If I'll click on it, I'm getting run test demo file. It will be running as a normal file, but you can see over here, nothing has came over here in the output. Right, probably I have to call this function and then I'll get the output. Right, functions are going to give you the output only when they are called. Now it is given. But in case of test cases that we are going to make, we don't have to call the functions. We don't have to call the functions. It's automatically going to run the test case that is made by changing the configurations a little. So if we look for the configuration over here, these are the configurations we need to see to make it run using the PyTest. It's not showing. Let's see. So over here, yeah, there is one more setting that we have to do. By default, there are settings done in PyCharm. We have to edit them a little. Go to File Settings option again. And in here, now you have to go to Tools. In the Tools, you have to go to, just a minute, Python Integrated Tools. And in here, there are different options coming. What is the packaging? What is the environment that you are using? The interpreter you are using? And when it comes to the section testing, over here, testing by default, the test runner, the test we are going to run, the test cases we are make, they are set by using the unit test framework. But we are not doing the unit test framework as it is little complicated as compared to PyTest. And PyTest is very easy to understand also. You don't have to manually do things. Just one-time settings you have to do and it will be good to go. Right. Right now I have unit test testing, so I'm not getting any option to run my code using PyTest. Once I change it with PyTest, I just change it over here with PyTest, apply this change and click OK. Now see the difference what I'm going to get. On the workspace itself, you can see the screen that earlier I was not getting this run option over here in front of the test, in front of this function. I was not getting this, right? Now I have different options from where I can run this. I can run it from here as well. What it will do is it will run this specific function from the whole file. If I have more functions over here, let me remove this function here. And I'll just will make one more function, test 2. In front of this function as well, you can see I have got the run option. That means I can specifically from a file, from a single file, I can run a specific function. If I have so many functions, if I have 10 functions in the same file, I can run one specific at a time. It's up to me whether I want to run all or whether I want to run one. That also is possible, right? So right now I'm going to make these two functions and I will run one by one as well, and then together we'll run. So over here, I'll say this is my second test case and done. Now if I run this, if I click this button, you can see what options I'm getting. Now the configuration name has been changed. Earlier what it was, run test demo. The file name was coming simple. But now we have changed the test runner. Now we are running the test cases from the PyTest framework. So now I have given the option that you can run this particular function in PyTest also. So I'll click this and see the console, how this has been changed. Now I have got the full information that from where this test case is running, from where it's running, this is the path being given and all the information ahead. When the test case started, that is coming. What are the additional arguments? I'll come to these additional arguments, that what these additional arguments are. In a minute, I'll come to that. And just below that, it says test session start. This means that you are running a test case now. You are going to bound this function. You have not called it. Interpreter itself has checked that it is a particular test case and this has been run. Right, there is no function call, you can see yourself. And then it tells me that whether the test case failed or passed, whether my browser automation was successful or not, whether my print statement got printed on the console or not. Everything over here is visible like that. Same way I can run this function as well, and it will tell me that how many test cases I have run. One test case I have run, so one only count is come. Now if I run this whole file, which has two test cases, so I'll go over here. I need to just run this file, run PyTest. For this, I click somewhere here. You see. Just a second there. Once a configuration made for a file is little complicated to change, so I'm going to delete this one. And this one is. And now I'm going to run this. Test demo to pass. Change this a little. You can edit the configurations anytime you want. You want to delete some configurations, you can simply just click over to the configuration list, edit configuration, all the configurations will come. You can click on that, you can click the delete button or this minus button, the configuration will be deleted. If you want to edit it, click on the configuration. Over here, I have changed it. It was running one specific function from my file. I don't want to run that specific one. I want to run the whole file. So over here, I'll change this. And then over here also, will change and done. I'll apply it and I'll see. And I'll run this. Now this time you can see the output has been changed. I have ran the whole file this time. And both of my test cases, both of my functions have been executed. And over here, what I get is there are two test cases in your file and both have been run. It gives you the information as well that which test case has ran, which test case fails. This will be coming over here. The test demo one was completely passed, so I get passed over here. Test demo 2 was also passed, so that also is fine. Now, there is one more thing that is necessary that I'll show you using one more function over here. I'll make one more test case and I'll show you that what is the next thing we are going to do. This is test demo 3. Here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to print something. Let's say I want to add these two, 5 plus 5. Let's say I want to print this. I'll again run this file. I get the output over here. Right. Now you can see over here that it gives me the percentage that how many test cases are passed, but my output is coming over here, which is not that clear that whether it's an output or whether it's just the same statement with the information or anything like that. I'm not clear with that. So what you can do is you can add additional argument. Over here, you go to configuration, and in the configuration, you will see this option additional arguments. Now, over this additional arguments, this is a very useful column that has been given to you. From here, we are going to set up the reports that we are going to generate soon. That settings we are going to do over here, and along with that, sometimes what happens that PyTest does not let you print the result. It does not let you have any print statement in the whole test case. It does not allow. So for that, what you can do is you can add an argument that is -s. By this, what will happen is it will allow you to print the statements, the print statements that you have given inside your test case on your console. Otherwise, it's not going to print in some cases. In my case, it is being printed, so it's okay, but it gives you a proper error that it's not allowed. You need to update this. So I'll save this and I'll run this. Now this time you can see the change in the output. Now this time it gives me the information that from where the test case is running, which test case is running, that is coming test demo. And just next to that, whatever I have given inside the test case, if there are any print statements, they are coming just next to the test case name itself. That from this test case, this is the print statements that are attached. And then I'm getting the information that the test case was passed. Then I'm getting the result. So this way, little changes in the configuration can change a lot of the things in your single file. Right? Same way you can see the another outputs as well. And one more thing to be observed over here is in here in the additional arguments, earlier I was not getting anything. There were no headers, no summary, everything was no. But now I have given one argument and that argument is coming over here. So whatever arguments you're going to give, they're going to be listed over here. You can check that and see if you need it or if you don't need it. Okay. Any questions, any doubts so far? It has no questions and everything clear. So I'll move further with this. Now this is one way you can run the test cases. You can do the same thing. You can run the same test cases from your command prompt as well. Because every time it's not possible that you have the same ID, the same version, the same configurations. Right. So you can do the same thing from the command prompt as well. What just you need is you need to know the location where your file is live. So I'll just will go to this project's location and I'll get the path. So over here, where do I get that option? Open in Explorer. This is the path of my project. I'll open this up. In D3 package, I have my test case. So I'll just will go up over here. I'll take this path and I'll go to my command prompt. And here, I'll just will change the location. Right. Now I am at the location where my test case is live. From here, how I can run this? I just need to give one single command, PyTest. One single command, PyTest, means that in this location, in this particular project, under this particular package, as many as test files are there. Test files, not the Python files. This is very important to follow the conventions, otherwise you may not get the output correctly. All the test files are going to be executed serially. So if I press enter, will take a while. So you'll have to wait, and it is done. Now you can see over here, it says collected 3 items and it is only giving the name of one file. And that is test demo, which we followed the convection for. I have another file also over here, that is PyTest basics. This has not been executed. Why? Because this only command is so intelligently working that it identifies the test files only and will execute those only. Right. Now over here, I don't get any print statements. Right. I have some commands given inside and I want to see what the print statements are given, what the result is. So here also, I test. Along with that, I have to give that additional argument that we have given, that marker, that is -s, to see my console out. So if I press this, if I run this command, I get all those over here. The same way we were getting on the console on our pie chart. This way also you can do. Now over here you get multiple things. Right now we are running the whole file. In Python, I had the option to run a single function individually as well from the file. So can we do it from here? The question arises over here that can we do the same thing over here? So yes, we can do that. Just what you need to do is the command will be the same, just the markers will be changing. I need the -s marker to see the output. So I'll say -s. Then to run the individual test case, to run the specific test case that I want to run, I have to use the marker -k to run the individual one, followed by the name of the test case I want to run, the test function I want to run. So suppose I want to run this test demo 3. I want to run this. So I'll give that over here simply and I press enter. Okay, it gives me some kind of exception. Expected end of input, what left parenthesis. Okay, I don't need to give the parenthesis. I just need to give the name of the test case and it runs like this. Now, out of the whole file, three test cases were there. Out of the three test cases, 2 got deselected because I gave only one name, and 1 got selected, which has been executed, and I have got the output as well. This way, I can run specific test cases as well. Okay, clear till this? After this, there are few things that we need to understand in PyTest, which we are going to use in the, well, over here, I have the list of all those. You can skip the test cases, but this hardly is going to be in use. But to skip the test cases, what you just need to do is you need to add a annotation over here. What annotation is? A command prefixed by a symbol, this one. That you have to just accept PyTest dot. That's the only command to skip any test case. Now, skipping the test case or running a test case individually, that's up to you. Which one you prefer, you want to run or not, that's yours. Right. So if I save this and I run this file again, now in this file, this function will not be executed. This will be skipped. Clearly will be mentioned that one test case is being skipped. Which one also will be informed to you. So over here, I got something skipping expected as message parameter. Okay. Didn't ask for message after. Let's see. Dot skip. Okay. So over here, when you are giving the skip command as a annotation, as on the top of a function, you need to add it as mark. You have to mark that function as you are skipping it or you are getting into a group or anything like that. You have to mark. Otherwise, it is a full-fledged command as well, that pytest.skip is itself a command. That also you can use, both ways work, just the location matters, that where you are giving. But you can run skip the test cases simply, and the information also comes that yes, test demo 3 was skipped. Whatever message you are giving, that will come along, that you are skipping the test case for this reason. Okay. Now after that, we have the grouping, parameterizing, and assert keyword. Now talking about grouping. Grouping is not that commonly used in case of Selenium with Python. Yes, in case of Java it works, but in Python it's generally not that used. But you can group any test case that you want. What you just need to do is the same way you have to use the symbol followed by the command pytest dot mark dot the name of the group you want to put. Let's say I want to give it as group 1. That you have to give, and same way you have to mark it as pytest. Whichever test case you want to lie under the same group 1, you have to annotate the same test. You have to annotate the test case with the same annotation, with the same name. If you want to change it, you will just change it over here, and that will be grouped into the different groups you get. But market again, it's not that used. So that's why I'm not going to emphasize more on it. What we are going to emphasize more on it is the parameterizing and the assert keyword. They are the most useful one in the case of PyTest. So I'll just will make one more test case, and I'll say test underscore parameterizing. So in here, suppose I have a function, I have different test cases which are just calculating the sum of two numbers. I have that functions and I have around 5 group of uh, variables which I need to add. So what I'll do, what I generally will do, I'll just will go on and I'll say sum1, and then over here I'll say print one plus 8. This way we are going to make functions and functions and functions, and we are going to do that. Okay, it's giving me some kind of exception because you cannot concatenate a string and an integer at the same time. So that's why it's giving me this. So I'll just will put it into a variable output. And, this plus this. Over here, I'll just will print out. It's still giving me the same, so I have to typecast it. I have to make either I have to remove this part, or I have to convert this into string. So typecasting is easy. You just have to follow it by the variable that you want to cast it to. I want to make it as a string, and then I want to get it printed. So if I run this file, I get the output over here. That is sum1 is this. Right. I can just change the configuration to get this output more clear. So I'll add -s, apply, okay, and done. Now I have 5 set of these. Right, 4 different test cases doing the same functionality. Nothing is changed except for the variables. In my case, I'm not changing the variables. Let them be same. And I get this. Correct. Now, is it the right way to do this? This is just the additional work we are doing. We are writing the same code and it's taking a lot of time to interpret the test case again and again and again. So it's a time consuming process if it is a longer test case. In my case, it's just not 2 lines, but if it is a proper test case of automation, this will be a repetition. So instead of this, what we can do is we can make one single function and I can parameterize it with different set of data that I want. I can just pass on the different set of data and the same function will be executed. The same test case will be executed. So I'll comment it for the time and we'll make one more function. Let's say that is def test underscore calculate. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the same thing. Output is equals to a plus b. Now a plus b, what is a plus b? The values we are going to pass. Right, it's giving me exception over here because I have to pass it to the test case because we are accepting the parameters. So I got that. At end, what I need to do is I need to print the result. Whatever result I get, that I need to print over here in out. That's what I need. Now over here, we say that test cases are not called. They are automatically called when the interpreter is checking them. When we just do this, it automatically runs. Right now it failed because nothing is being passed as a argument. A plus b is nothing, nothing, right? It's just a variable and there is no value inside. So what I need to do is over here, I have to parameterize it. I would say at the rate or symbol parameterize. The annotation will be used pytest dot mark dot to be inputted dot parameters. This annotation will come. But now this annotation requires the thing, what it needs. Firstly, it needs to know what items are going to be passed. I am going to variables and that are A and B, right? So I'll just will say A and B are the 2 things that this annotation will receive. And next, what I'm going to do is that set of data I want to calculate. So I'll just will use the data structure over here. This is a list basically. And inside the list, I'm going to pass the set of data. So what set of data I want to pass? Let's say 100, 89. This is one set. Then I have this maybe 5 set of data and we'll see what output we get. Give me 07 is an error, so I'll remove this 0. These are the values I have passed. Now what is going to happen? I'll save this. I need to concatenate it, so I have to typecast this as a string so that it can be printed. Now if I run this file again, over here you can see the difference that what is coming. One only function I'm calling. But using this annotation, I am passing 5 different set of data and every set of data is being considered as a single test. This data set that we have, this is one test case input. This is second test case input, and so on and so on. This way I can pass more as well. And every data set will be considered a different test case. So that's why one test case is collecting 5 items. 5 data sets are passing and 5 test cases are considered. And it's giving me the information that which test case has been executed in which sequence. So firstly, the first data set got executed. I got the result. Second one got the result. Third and fourth and fifth. Right. This way, I can pass multiple test cases to a function, to a particular one function. This is going to be really necessary when you're going to make the frameworks ahead for the automation. This is going to work a lot. Now, question arises that what if some error happens in the test case? How it's going to give, right? How I'm going to detect that what is the correct result, whether I'm getting the right output or not, right? So for that, we have a different keyword to check that whether the output being calculated is correct as the expected one. We are expecting 100 plus 89 as 189. But what if we are calculating it wrong? We are saying 190, but output is 189. How we are going to compare? So for that, I have a keyword that is assert. What this keyword does actually compares actual with expected out. This is what it's going to do. So over here, what we are going to do is, along with this two parameters, A and B, I'm going to pass one more parameter that is, let's say, result. This is my computed one. What I think the output will be. That I'm going to pass. And over here, I'll say assert. Just this keyword I'm going to use. Let's just use it after the print statement so that we can get the result as well. Assert output result. Probably, yeah, it's common. So I have to pass this result now as well to this data set. So what we need to do is we need to edit it. One more parameter I'll add, result. And along with that over here, I'll add the computed one, that whether it's right or not. I expect it to be 189. This one I expect it to be, let's say 140, which is wrong. Then have 107, then 63 or 64, let's say, the wrong one I'm giving again. And then we have 113. So these 5 data sets, I have 2 data sets which are incorrectly getting the result. So how this assert is going to help you in calculating this? Just see this. I'll save this and I'll rerun this. Okay, it is not fast, maybe something wrong. Assert. Equals to not, double equals to. So now this time it is comparing the result and the out. First data set, it gave the, it ran the first data set which was having the right expected result, so it passed. The second data set which was not right. So over here, this is the result that we have got. This is the actual computed one. What I was giving was this. So over here, it gives you the whole result in detail, that this was the expected one that I was expecting, and this is the actual. These are the values for this data for this test case, and where your test case is failing, that line number is being pointed out, and then it gives you an error, assertion error, and it failed the test case. It simply gives you the whole information in detail so that you can correct it easily and you can rectify it and recalculate it. So if I recalculate it, I say this is 134 and let's say this is 63. Now all the data sets have the right expected result. If I save this and rerun this, all the test cases pass. These two functions, these two parameterize, these one, the parameterization and the assert keyword, they work hand in hand so that you can get the accurate output from the test. Okay. Any questions or doubts on this or so far what we have done? No. From anyone else? Okay. So I expected as it's clear to everyone how the test cases are different from the simple Python files, how the test cases runs differently and how you can configure them. All the settings are clear. I expect you to practice this. If you face any issue, just do let me know. We'll discuss it in the next class. Okay. So now, at the end, to Akhila, I would like to say, Akhila, I have observed one thing in your setting that when you are importing over here, along with Selenium, I have seen this from settings. When if you can see this setting of mine, you can see that over here there is no wheel package that is coming in your setting. There is something with that wheel package that is coming, which is actually uh, troubling the package. So I'll request you once to remove Python from your system, uninstall it, properly, fully uninstall it. Okay, you need to properly uninstall it and Selenium as well. Might be from any of the packages that wheel package is coming, which is not required and which is blocking them. Okay, so once do it and then retry installing the Python again in your system. You have to make sure that there is no another Python version in your system. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Just try that. And if still the issue is not resolved, then do let me know. Okay?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Which version I should download by that Python?
You can get any version. You can get the recent version or one version older. It's totally working good.
Okay. Okay.
Just need to go to the official website, that is python.org. And the recent version will be listed on the homepage itself. If you want to go for the other version, just go to the downloads link in Windows or whatever system you have and get it for them.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay then, guys. This was all for this session. I'll request you guys to practice and I'll see you tomorrow. If any doubts are there with them,